All right, so we're back and ready to dive into that crazy Falcons-Cowboys game. I mean, seriously, what a shakeup for the NFC South. We've got all the game summaries and some expert analysis here. So let's really get into it.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if we were all wrong in the preseason. Falcons are looking pretty good now after that win.
Mhm.
And they did it without Ridley, their star receiver. The Cowboys, though, not so much, sitting at 3-5.
Yeah,
Feels like more than just a little bad luck there.
you think so? I mean, that hip injury took Ridley out early, but
Yeah.
Falcons really adapted well, didn't
It
they?
was impressive, yeah.
Hmm?
Instead of trying to force those deep balls without Ridley, they went with the short passing game, really utilized their tight end size, took advantage of those Cowboys linebacker matchups. And Cousins, he didn't have huge numbers or anything, but his decision-making, it kept them moving, especially in that last drive for the score.
Right, right. And then on the other side, you've got the Cowboys offense just totally sputter. I mean, obviously not having Prescott is a big deal with that hamstring injury, but it feels like there's something more going on there, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Their offensive line is really struggling to give the backup any time at all. And the play calling, well, it's been predictable, to say the least. They're averaging under 4 yards a carry. And that fake punt, well, let's just say it wasn't exactly inspiring.
Yeah, that fake punt was a choice. And that fourth down attempt, too, it almost felt like both of those were kind of symptoms of a bigger issue. It makes you think, are there problems with the coaching staff, their decision-making under pressure? Especially with that record, it's got to be more than just the players, right?
Wait,
It feels systemic.
yeah, I'd agree with that. Those kinds of errors, especially back-to-back like that, point to something deeper,
Mhm.
like game management, maybe even team morale. This is a team that wants a Super Bowl, they're talking Super Bowl, but they're sure not playing like it.
So where does this leave the NFC South, then? Are we looking at the Falcons taking the lead here while the Cowboys fade into the background?
It's definitely looking that way. Falcons have momentum, a clear identity, and they're winning even without a star player. Cowboys, on the other hand, they seem to be searching for answers. And those mistakes, those are a big concern. They're not just losing games, they're losing their grip on the division.
And they have to play each other again later in the season, right?
Yep, week 15 could very well decide the whole thing. But there's another factor here, too. The injuries. Losing guys like Prescott and Ridley, that has long-term implications, not just for that one game, but the rest of the season.
That's a good point. So we've got the Cowboys trying to figure out how to score without their starting quarterback, and the Falcons, well, they've got to adjust their passing game without Ridley. Who knows for how long?
Yeah, it's a real test of their depth for both teams. But the Falcons, they've shown they can adapt, right? Remember that run by their backup running back, juking guys like they weren't even there. That wasn't just luck. That was good coaching, player development. They've got
Right.
guys ready to step up.
Oh, yeah. That was incredible. I'd almost forgotten about that run. The guy looked like Barry Sanders out there.
Yeah.
It really speaks to how the Falcons approach things. They're not just all about star power. They've built a system,
Yeah.
where everyone contributes.
Exactly. It's what you see in well-coached teams. They've got that identity, they know their strengths, and they stick to it.
And what about the Cowboys then? They've got talent, but can they get out of this slump?
It's going to be tough. Their next few games are, no joke, some tough opponents. If they don't fix that offensive line and get a little more creative with the play calling, it's going to be a long season.
So you're saying it's not just about getting Prescott back. There's more to it than that.
For sure. Prescott coming back will help, but it won't solve everything. They got to address those fundamental issues we talked about, the decision-making, the execution, even maybe the team culture. Right now, they're losing confidence, and that can spiral out of control pretty quickly.
Yeah, it makes the whole NFC South even more interesting. It's always been unpredictable, but this season feels different,
Oh, it's wide open.
Yeah.
You've got the Falcons on the rise, the Cowboys struggling, and then don't forget about the Saints and Panthers. They're still in the mix.
Right, right. What about those teams then? The Saints, they've been up and down, but they're always dangerous with Winston, aren't they?
Winston's the playmaker, that's for sure. But he could be inconsistent, too. The key for them is the defense. If their defense stays healthy and keeps them in games, they could make a run, absolutely.
Yeah.
But they can't afford many more slip-ups.
And the Panthers, they're young, still finding their way, but they've got some exciting players.
Yeah, that rookie quarterback, Bryce Young, he's shown some real flashes. Remember that comeback against the Bucs in the fourth quarter? He's got the arm, the poise. He could be a star, but he needs experience.
He is fun to watch, though. Seems like he's making highlight plays every week.
He is. But yeah, still young, like we said. The Panthers, their success really depends on him, on his development. If he keeps improving, avoids those rookie mistakes, they could be a real force down the line in a few years. This season, though, still a long shot.
So the NFC South is going to be a battle, huh? Any bold predictions from you? How's it going to shake out?
Well, the Falcons are looking good. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the division. They've got the momentum, the coaching, that depth we talked about. But the Saints and Panthers, they're still there. And who knows, the Cowboys could turn things around.
Yeah, too unpredictable, call it right now. That's what makes it so fun to watch. Every week feels like a playoff game. What should our listeners be looking out for then as we head into the second half of the season?
Quarterback situations, that's the big one. Can Prescott get back to form? Will Cousins keep playing at this level? And what about Young? How's he going to develop? That's going to determine the fate of these teams, I think.
Oh, and don't forget about the coaching.
Yeah.
Can McCarthy fix things in Dallas? Or are we going to see more of those questionable calls?
Yeah, coaching is huge.
Yeah.
Those decisions down the stretch, in close games especially, that could be the difference between playoffs and going home early.
It's going to be an exciting finish, that's for sure. Can't wait to see what happens. Yeah, really anything could happen in the NFC South. Falcons are flying high, Cowboys are stumbling. And then you've got the Saints and Panthers just waiting for someone to mess up.
It's going to be a close one, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But maybe we should step back for a second. For our listeners, why should they care about all this?
that's a good point. It's not just about who wins or loses, right? It's about the stories these teams are telling us. The Falcons, they're like a lesson in resilience. And the Cowboys, well, they're a cautionary tale.
Exactly. And it reminds us that in the NFL, nothing is certain. All those preseason predictions, out the window. We thought the Cowboys would be contenders, and now they're just fighting to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the Falcons, we totally underestimated them. Now they're the team to beat.
Yeah, it shows you how quickly things can change. Every game, every play, it matters.
And for our listeners, the ones who love the strategy, the why behind everything. The NFC South is a gold mine right now. Coaching decisions, young quarterbacks, veteran teams trying to stay on top.
So as we wrap things up here, the big takeaway is don't underestimate the NFC South. It's going to be a must-watch for the rest of the season, and I bet there are more surprises coming.
Yeah, I think so too. Here's something to think about as you watch these games. How much does coaching really matter? We talked about the Cowboys' bad calls, but look at the Falcons, their coaching staff. They've built something. A next-man-up mentality. They're thriving even with injuries. Think about that when you're watching the other teams too.
That's a great point. Is it more about talent? Or is it about the coaching, getting the most out of that talent, creating a winning culture? It's something to think about, not just in the NFC South, but for any team.
That's a classic question, isn't it? And the NFC South is giving us a front row seat to see how it all plays out.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll be back with another one soon. But until then, keep your eye on the NFC South. It's going to be a wild ride.